Edgar said to the interviewer he was convinced that the thing out there wasn't a vault at
Yeah,
all.
I know what he thought.
Dr. Edgars didn't think it was designed to keep things out.
I know what he
thought
thought.
it was designed to keep something in.
Do you even understand the difficulty trying to keep a base like Fathom at the bottom of the ocean from killing everyone in it on a daily basis?
Oh my god.
Everyone hold on to something! I think whatever is on the other side of that door out there, it's not friendly. I think it's trying to get out. That, my friend, is a dire combination.
That's a bad sign.
Get under the door!
It's spreading like some kind of technological contagion. We can either stop it here or watch the world burn.
Fathom, the first season of Derelict. Listen wherever you get your podcasts, or learn more at derelictpodcast.com.
Hi, this is Rob Benedict.
And I am Richard Spate. We were both on a little show you might know called Supernatural.
It had a pretty good run, 15 seasons, 327 episodes.
And though we have seen, of course, every episode many times, we figured, hey, now that we're wrapped, let's watch it all again.
And we can't do that alone. So we're inviting the cast and crew that made the show along for the ride. We've got writers, producers, composers, directors, and we'll of course have some actors on as well, including some certain guys that played some certain pretty iconic brothers.
It was kind of a little bit of a left field choice in the best way possible.
The note from Kripke was, he's great, we love him, but we're looking for like a really intelligent Duchovny type.
With 15 seasons to explore, it's going to be the road trip of several lifetimes. So please join us and subscribe to Supernatural Then and Now.
The 11th Hour Audio presents To Whom It May Concern.
To whom it may concern. I hope this letter finds you well. You don't know me, but I've seen you around town and feel compelled to tell you how pretty I think you are. Oh, I don't know if it's your crooked smile or your kind brown eyes, or maybe it's the way you confidently laugh at yourself when you trip on the sidewalk. Or talk to yourself when your confidence wavers.
Either way, I find you very endearing. You may be wondering why I'm writing you instead of just saying hello. Well, I've always been a bit shy. And my parents weren't the most social of butterflies, so I suppose their lack of confidence rubbed off on me. Needless to say, I never had many friends, but I'm hoping that maybe, just maybe, we can be friends one day. You may not remember this, but we actually met once. It was an unseasonably cool day in early June. You wore a flowered dress with a sweater draped over your delicate, freckled shoulders. You were coming out of a coffee shop, the one on 17th and Walnut, and I held the door for you.
Oh, thank you.
But out of nowhere, a strong gust of wind snatched your mocha kappa something, and it ended up all over my shirt. You were mortified and profusely
Oh my God,
apologized.
I'm so sorry.
But I just smiled and smiled. I didn't know what to say. I was so nervous that I froze. I was just so happy that you finally noticed me. I must have held that same door for you at least a dozen times before without barely a smile. You must have been late for something, though, because when I grabbed your arm, you quickly pulled away.
Let go of me.
And rushed down the street. You looked back a couple times, and I smiled and waved, and you just kept going. It was a nice moment, though. Don't you think? In fact, from that moment on, I knew we were meant for one another. I think it's our destiny. But I returned to that coffee shop every day for a week, at the same time every day. but you never showed up. I guess that's the problem with destiny. You could wait forever for it to follow through with its promise. I guess it's like Shakespeare said, "It is not in the stars to hold our destiny, but in ourselves." So I am convinced I need to precipitate that promise of the stars. We deserve it, don't you think? And that brings us to this morning, our fateful day. Well, if I have any say in it. I actually woke up nervous. I had butterflies in my stomach. Obviously not real butterflies, but the kind of butterflies you get on Christmas morning right before you learn that Santa couldn't make it this year. Or remember that feeling you'd get as a child when your mom would climb into bed with you and she'd snuggle up close? You could feel her breath tickle your ears, and then she'd softly kiss your neck. Remember that? It was scary, but exhilarating. Well, that's the kind of nervous I felt this morning. Anyway, luckily I've been keeping tabs on you. I was a little surprised to learn that you abruptly moved last July. But it didn't take us long for our paths to cross again. Listen to me. I'm yammering on and on. You probably think I'm some kind of hopeless romantic. Guilty. Well, I better get going. There's a lot to do today. Just think, by the time you read this letter, our fates will have crossed, and we can begin that special journey together called love.
Sincerely? Your secret admirer?
P.S. Turn around.
To Whom It May Concern was written and produced by Glenn Mercer. Performed by Janine Gilbert and Glenn Mercer. Music by James Iracy. Credits and production assistance by Owen McEwen.
Do you dig science fiction? Then get ready for the hardest-hitting sci-fi you've ever heard. The Galactic Football League series by #1 New York Times bestselling author Scott Sigler is now a free, unabridged podcast. It's Star Wars meets Peaky Blinders meets Ted Lasso. The GFL is a star-spanning, high-action, high-stakes, coming-of-age story set against the backdrop of a professional football league 700 years in the future. Follow the journey of Quentin Barnes, a gifted athlete who must travel from his backwater system to the galaxy's sprawling empires in his quest to be the best there's ever been. But he needs to watch his back as organized crime runs every franchise, fixing games and assassinating rival players. That's the Galactic Football League series. Search for Scott Sigler, Sigler, wherever you get your podcasts. If you want a person dead, you call a hitman. If you want a monster dead, you call Lincoln Franks. But you better be able to pay the price he asks, because Lincoln doesn't work for free. Pay to slay, bitches. Slay Season 2 is the current season of Scott Sigler Slices, a fiction podcast with dark tales hacked from the mind of a #1 New York Times bestselling author. Slay is a foul-mouthed, monster-killing, drug-addled anti-hero story that's John Wick meets Buffy meets Breaking Bad. Slay Season 1 is complete and waiting for you in the feed, as is Scott's short story anthology, Blood is Red. Scott Sigler Slices is the world's longest-running fiction podcast, 19 years and counting, with new episodes dropping every Sunday. Get Scott Sigler Slices on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.